Porter Manqoba Mngunu, who is outside of Lutuli House, of course, at the back of the January 8th statement. Colleague, good to have you. Good morning to you. I suppose quite an important day for the ANC. Of course, the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa expected to make that virtual address this very evening. I mean, I suppose the question is, what will be on top agenda and top priority of what his address will make mention of?
Indeed, Dumelo, a very different celebration to the ANC's January 8th statement this year. Of course, we're not in a stadium this year. This is due to the fact that the party has now taken an 11-hour decision not to proceed with its celebrations in Limpopo this year due to COVID-19. Of course, you recall that under level 3, all of those gatherings have been prohibited. And so the party will be doing things a bit differently this year. It will be doing it virtually, as I've explained in your intro, that President Cyril Ramaphosa will deliver his address at 7 p.m. tonight through a virtual platform. But in terms of expectation, of course, we do expect to hear about the state of the party. But beyond that, what are some of the key priorities that the party will be looking into this year? But also the speech expected to set the tone for what government will be tasked with doing in terms of the mandate that will be given by the National Executive Committee of the ANC. So there are a lot of issues, of course, that are expected to be talked about in this particular speech. And top of mind is the issue, of course, of COVID-19 and how the ruling party plans to deal with the pandemic, and also the issue around the corruption involved in COVID-19 procurement. That also we do expect the president to touch on. But beyond that, also the issue of gender-based violence. This will also be one of the issues that will, of course, be important for the president to address. But I just want to bring in the alliance partners now. I'm joined by Dr. Alex Mashilo from the SACP. They, of course, will be watching this speech closely with expectations. Dr. Mashilo, thank you for your time. The president giving his speech today at 7 o'clock. What do you expect to hear from him?
Firstly, we must say a very happy birthday to the African National Congress, the oldest liberation formation on our continent. 109 years is an important milestone that many formations did not reach. What we expect from the president today, at least, is an articulation on how we will overcome this coronavirus pandemic. The numbers are rising. The death toll is also rising. However, it is important to say this to our people. The government, the African National Congress and the Alliance alone will not succeed to overcome the coronavirus. Each one of us has to contribute for us to overcome the coronavirus. We have to comply with the regulation. This coronavirus is an immediate threat that we need to overcome in order to do other things.
But of course, there are also other issues. Looking into the state of the party itself, it goes into this January 8th statement and celebrating this 109-year birthday, of course, with glaring divisions in its leadership as well as its membership. And this is one of the issues that, of course, would be very important for the president to address, how he plans to unite the party. How do you think that the party has done so far in terms of unifying and trying to deal with those divisions?
The most important achievement by the African National Congress was to unite the oppressed, to wage the struggle against colonial oppression and apartheid. And as part of uniting the oppressed, it was participating in building the alliance, the mass democratic movement, until we overthrow the apartheid regime. If you look at world history, particularly the global south, many formations that were involved in the struggle against colonialism, after they achieved breakthroughs into democratic dispensations, began to experience problems of unity, because a transition into a democratic dispensation brings about new opportunities as well as new challenges. And as a result, we begin to see internal divisions and disunity emerging. Some of the things that these old liberation formations will never thought would happen after transition into democratic dispensation also intensify, because disunity and internal divisions are not only caused by internal factors. there are external factors, and some of these factors are rooted in the economy. So far, we have seen the ANC becoming successful in handling internal divisions. We know they have taken a resolution for organizational renewal and unification of the party. However, Rome was not built in one day. The African National Congress and its alliance partners must master the art of unifying the organization under conditions of governance, because these conditions are different from conditions of waging a liberation struggle against colonial rule.
But of course, the elephant in the room is the issue of the Secretary General, Ace Magashule, of course, who was involved or in court recently over allegations of fraud and corruption, and the Integrity Commission also taking a decision that he needs to vacate office, that he needs to leave office. But this was not addressed in that NEC meeting that took place. Are you disappointed as the SACP? Do you think this is an indictment from the ruling party?
Firstly, I must say, when the African National Congress in Mangaung 2012 first adopted the resolution that those who are facing serious charges in the courts of law will have to step aside until their names are cleared, we supported that resolution. We know that from Mangaung to Nazareth, there were implementation problems, but Nazareth reaffirmed that resolutions. We also know that the Secretary General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, is not the only member or leader of the party who has been charged in the courts of law. What we need to do is to avoid attaching names of individuals or their surnames to the resolutions of the movement. In order for the resolutions to successfully see the light of the day, they have to be implemented consistently without regard to who is involved. For example, there were others who were charged in the courts of law before Ace Magashule. So we cannot now jump and begin to act fractionally because it is Ace Magashule and then demand this and that. While the African National Congress has given a direction, the ANC has said in order for this resolution to be implemented consistently, they have to develop guidelines. And those guidelines are very important to implement this resolution consistently from the branch level, from the regional level, in provinces and at the national level, without regard to the position one is holding. When this resolution is implemented consistently without regard to who is implicated, we will begin to see progress. That is what we want, not on this or that individual, but on everybody implicated by the resolution. That will protect the integrity of the resolution.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Alex Mashilo, who is the Central Committee member of the SACP, speaking to us there ahead of that speech by President Ramaphosa. It is expected to take place at 7 p.m. tonight.
All right. Thank you so much, colleague and reporter Mangoba Mkhulu.